The Andrew Tate versus Chase Demore fight were one of the larger anticipated fights this year, especially from the younger audience. I know a lot of influencers and creators have already given their opinion on it, but today we're going to look at what happened before the fight, in the lead up. We're going to look at what happened in the fight, and we're going to have a quick look at the post fight, and we're going to try and figure out why it was such a massive upset and why Tate didn't perform as everyone expected him to. Me personally, I believe what happened in the fight, Tate brought all onto himself. So let's have a look at that today and why that is.
And you're boxing a bunch of small guys. It's not going to prepare you. What's he got wrong about what you're doing?
Well, of course, I'm going to spar people who are taller than me. Of course, some of them are in this room.
And you've shown a lot of it.
Yeah, I've shown quite a bit, but I haven't shown all of it, of course. Of course, I'm going to spar people of all different abilities and sizes. I'm going to show certain parts of my camp on the internet and certain parts I'm not going to show. I've learned from experience. I've seen it myself plenty of times. You think you know somebody's camp, you think you watch their videos, you think you understand what's going on. It's obviously very different behind the scenes. So I'm not concerned about what he thinks he knows. We prepared fully, completely. Like I said, the only concerns I had before signing this contract were my own personal concerns with old injuries, which have not come back at all. I feel 100%. I have no excuses for how I perform on the night. I feel fantastic. I genuinely feel in the best shape of my life. This is the first time I've ever trained for a fight with the kind of money I have now and the kind of resources I have now, the kind of capabilities for recovery and things I have now. So I really, truly feel amazing. I'm very glad that he believes that I've accepted a fight against a 6'6" opponent and then been sparring people who are 5'9". I mean, if he thinks I'm an idiot, then that's up to him. But
right, so let's go over what Chase said just a little bit. So Chase is 6'5", I believe is around 260 pounds. He's a huge athlete. You typically don't get athletes that big, and if you do, it's very rare that they're athletic. So Chase himself is very much a physical phenom. Now, the fact that he's played American football and he's used to other athletes being that size makes a big difference. There's a difference between rarely seeing an athlete like Chase and just being accustomed to training with them. And I think this is what gave him the supreme confidence he seemed to have in the fight. He wasn't intimidated by Tate at all because he's bigger than Tate. He also mentioned himself having longer reach and Tate sticking his head up in the air. One of the worst traits that Tate has with his fighting style is everybody sees it and everyone knows it. It's sticking his head up and doing pull counters, leaning right back to get out of the way of shots. And he doesn't slip to the side of any shots. That's fine if you're longer than your opponent or if you have better reach. Usually Tate has better reach, he has faster hands, and he's got half decent power. So when he does the pull counters, he leans back, he can get straight to his opponent because he's longer than them. And that's the way that he's won a lot of his fights and the way that he's landed a lot of his heavy shots. Now, I've not watched Tate sparring his 60 people or doing his, his training in his compound and stuff like that. I'm just not here for that. But I assumed that he'd be doing a lot of slipping, a lot of moving around. And just because you have a bunch of traits doesn't mean anything in fighting. Fighting is the one sport where the best fighter doesn't always win. There's not many other sports that are like that. And this comes down a lot of the time to strategy and preparation, which are two things I believe Tate got completely wrong in this fight and is the reason that he lost. This is what bothers me a little bit, and this is why I can't get into it. Like, you've got Mortal Kombat playing in the background. You've got Chase, a guy that's had a handful of professional fights on a world stage being viewed by millions of people. You've got Tate, 40-year-old bloke who I haven't fought in 12 years, stood in the crowd looking as that. It just makes me cringe a little bit, the whole thing. Obviously, I'm there for the fight. I watched the fight. I didn't watch it live. I watched it, after it had played out. But right, we've watched Chase hit a few pads. It looks very basic. But as long as you know you're basic and you know what you're capable of, then it's not a problem. People have won championships with a jab and a right hand because they knew the best weapons was a jab and a right hand. break this down. Let's be constructive with this. He's punching the pads flat on his feet, which is one of his biggest problems he had in the ring. He's got a low guard again. He's got no respect for the fight in itself. Look at his preparation. It's designed to make him look good. Hands low, flat feet, slow punches, little bit of sting on them, little bit of the shadow boxing, semi-shadow boxing in between it in the pads. He's got absolutely no respect for this fight. If you're half-arsing things, it creates half-arsed habits for when it actually matters. We've looked at both the open workouts, looking absolutely fantastic. Sure. Let's look at the fight. Let's actually watch the fight and see what took place. Give a breakdown of the fight.
Andrew King Cobra Tate!
Quite clean, and remember to finish those O-turns. Touch him out.
Stipulations around this one, Riley.
Definitely going to be a huge. Sets up the right hand, sets up the right hand. Beautiful punch selection by Andrew. He's got to make sure and let offset Andrew a little bit with some of his offense.
There's 2 minutes left in round number 1.
He's trying to box the better boxer right now.
Vesuvius has not lost in 13 years.
I like the body jab from Tate a lot. He's changing level what Chase gives him. Big left hook.
Really low for Andrew Tate right now. It's allowing him to snap that jab in unnoticed, but
The champion not looking to explode into the pocket on Tate.
He's head off the side when he jabs and set up his other shots. Keep everything off the jab.
Kimura's physical appearance, right? It seems like he has everything that he needs to succeed within boxing, but sometimes, right, the skills take a little longer. Right?
it's a tall order.
Kimura clinching here. It's a short shot from Tate. Chase not really committing to the right hand whatsoever, BJ.
No, not yet. He's still trying to find the range. And, if I'm chasing him more, I'm going to get that left jab going a little more authoritative. He's giving one round away. Andrew Tate so far on it. At disadvantage. He's get that shot going.
Big right from Kimura. Tate needs it well.
Big shot on the there. Oh, big combination legs from Andrew Tate.
You hit Chase there, and Chase tied him up smartly. But that's the area where Andrew Tate's been a lot of success and close to Chase.
Chase trying to tie up, neutralize space here.
That's what the experience shows once Andrew Tate gets in close. The range chasing, trying to keep him along, keep him away.
Right, we're approaching halfway into the fight now, and immediately you can see some of the traits that are coming out. Chase has no respect for Andrew Tate. He's not scared of him. He's got no respect for him. He's not going to stand there and let him impose any kind of game plan that he thinks it's going to be. He's going to get after this fight and try and win. It doesn't matter how good your skill is, how hard you punch, how good you are at punching. If you're exhausted, you can't fight. And I don't know why Andrew chose to fight this fight, running around, chasing the guy everywhere and wasting his energy. When Chase is a much longer man, the only game plan Andrew needed to do was move little, slip, and counter really, really, really hard punches and immediately get respect from Chase. And I'll show you an example. Chase likes to throw out a lazy jab, lazy pouring left hand constantly. Now granted, it's from the other side of the ring because he's so long, but every single time he pours out that hand, look where Tate's head is now, an opportunity to slip, fire an overhand right, slip, fire an overhand right. All Tate had to do was just spam overhand rights and slip that front jab. He barely needed to move much in this fight. If you watch things like, well, let's give 2 examples. Anderson Silva and Anthony Joshua, both fought recently. What did we see with both of them? We saw them both just going through the gears. They're both elite fighters. They have techniques that have been refined over years. They have feints that have been refined over years. They know how to move to make their opponent give them a certain twitch, which they can just capitalize on and throw power straight down the middle and hit them, or wherever it may be. And we saw this with Joshua. It was just playing around with Jake. Half of those combinations that Anthony Joshua landed on Jake, they wouldn't land on Usyk in a million years. Probably wouldn't land on any professional fighter. But he got to throw them easy combinations that always catch beginners no problem because they just don't know where to run. And we saw this from Anderson Silva when he pretended to grab his boot and then fired that front hand uppercut. Just tricks of the trade that have been refined over years to take your opponent straight out, that just show how elite you are at your craft. We all expected this from Tate. We didn't expect Tate to go running into Chase Dimore and have an actual slobber knocker with him, like as though they're both the same level. And when I say all Tate needed to do was not move much and spam a right hand, I'll give you an example of what I mean. Okay, so this is the man himself, who's probably one of the best people at using overhand rights, pretty much created a career with that single punch, Roy Nelson. Roy stands at 6 feet tall, Stefan Struge is 7 feet tall. So we've got a foot of height difference here. Overhand right from a lazy jab is one of the main weapons you'll ever get in such a height disadvantage. Watch this.
Nice knee. Big country.
Now, it's one thing to say it's easy to do, and I get that when you're in a professional environment, but let's remember Andrew Tate has a decade of wins as an ex-world champion, Chase as an influencer. That highlight knockout from an overhand right off of the lazy jab was there every single round, presenting itself every few seconds.
And PJ, chance for him to show some tools.
Needs to let that shot go. Good jab by Chase right there. Andrew rolled on.
Before we start, let's just remember what I just said. So look at opportunities where Chase puts his left hand out for a jab, just basically for show. His feet stay where they are, his left hand comes out, and he doesn't really do anything with it. He constantly paws, constantly.
College football lineman, led the NCAA Division II in black Kingston. Oh!
Good right hand.
Chase reads it well. Responds to some of his pushing and pressuring. Hands right to the body, takes to the corner. Big shots for the champion. Tate Cavalier. This is Chase Dimore's opportunity. You didn't really land it clean, Ben. Andrew actually landed a couple good shots intact there. He's landing with more conviction, man. Tate's
Headshots.
5 years away from competition, 4 months of training.
It's got to stay down. And it's just a matter who lands the right hand first.
Oh, Chase Fury!
20-pound body on top of it. Oh, it's over. Well, check shot. Yeah, he got hurt right there with that right uppercut. That was a tough shot.
And we'll just pause it there, because it's pretty much getting more of the same now. We just saw the biggest shot landed in the fight, which was the uppercut from Chase, which he fired literally from the floor. But why did that shot land, and why was he even throwing that shot? Because Tate was allowing him to build his confidence through the fight. Chase is so confident at this point in the fight. He's not scared whatsoever. He's 100% certain he can win this. And that's not how you want a younger, bigger fighter to feel. I think it was Wade said the exact right thing. Tate's letting him's a stretch, because nobody lets anybody do anything in fighting. Chase was bullying Tate. He was pushing him around, forcing him in uncomfortable positions, taking him off balance, and generally just making the fight a messy, scrappy fight, which is the worst thing. Coming from a professional fighting career, as a world champion, Tate's somewhat used to clean, technically proficient fighters who conserve their energy, choose the right moments to strike. Chase just ran at him and started throwing punches, arm punches, elbow punches, probably hit him with the elbow a few times. And if you've not, Tate didn't have the composure to step back, create distance, slip that lazy jab, fire some power on him, get some respect, reset, step back, create distance, slip that lazy jab, fire some power on him. Tate was so desperate to look a certain way or to do a certain thing that they were both just clashing into each other. They're both just expending energy at 100% maximum rate, and who's going to win that fight? Someone who's 10 years younger and like 10 pounds heavier, at least, probably more than that. Or the older guy who's a 40-year-old who smokes cigars every day. It's obvious which one's going to win. So I think Tate brought it onto himself. I think Tate could have won this fight pretty easily if he'd have looked at it completely differently. I think it reflects on his character. He woke a sleeping giant up in Chase. Trust me, I've been on the receiving end of this. When you go into fights and nobody's expecting you to win, and even your opponent counts you out, it wakes something up inside of you. You've got nothing to lose. I don't care about going full bore, because everybody thinks I'm going to lose anyway, so I don't care. And that's what he woke up inside of Chase. He should have been careful of waking up a sleeping giant, literally. He should have took his training more seriously And he should have assessed how he's won the majority of his fights in his career and how that's going to transfer into this fight. What he shouldn't have done is disrespected Chase, given no respect for fighting in general, assumed he's just going to knock this kid out straight away, and not had a realistic game plan on how he's going to do it. Tate's not a first, second round knockout fighter. That's not the trend in his career and his wins. Yes, he's got a lot of knockouts, not in the first or second round he hasn't. Not his knockout percentage isn't skewed into the first and second rounds. It's not how he wins. Not that kind of guy. Not that kind of puncher. Not that kind of fighter. So.
And still, the Misfits Boxing Heavyweight Champion of the World.
I'm a great contract. So once again, absolute respect to Chase. Complete respect to Chase. No excuses. I'm not going to give you any bullshit about injuries or any of that crap. You go in there, you fought against the odds, and he beat me, and he deserves full credit as a true champion.
It's cool for everyone to see him humble and stuff. Oh, you know, I'm not gonna say Chase didn't deserve it. But really, you're a world champion and Chase is an influencer, so we all expected you to win. Appreciate that you're humble about not winning, but why did that happen? Can you be constructive and tell us actually why that didn't happen? The reason that didn't happen was because you didn't respect your opponent, you didn't take the training seriously, and you tried to fight and win in a way typically that hasn't been common in your career. That's different to you. That's different to how you fight and win. So I think the main take home of this is hard work beats talent every time. And we all already knew that. He says a lot of the time it's because I got old, but Tony Ferguson was on the card and Tony won. Tony looked great. Anderson Silva fought the other day. He looked great. They're both old, so it's age isn't an excuse. It's the conditioning, the mindset, the preparation. That's what matters. They're all the parts you got wrong. You smoke cigars every day. You fight people who aren't real fighters. You fight 60 normal men, and as far as I'm aware, Chase has been having actual fights. Somebody told me he's actually been having actual fights because he's been preparing for this because he didn't want to lose. He actually didn't want to lose and he knew it was stacked against him.
If I want to get spiritual about all of this, why did I get tired? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. The only thing that makes sense is that I was not supposed to win. Why was I not supposed to win? Maybe God decided, you know what, Chase has been through enough with mocking and things on the internet. Chase doesn't need the loss right now. Andrew can handle the loss better. Maybe God decided.
Or he should just be careful smoking cigars before he puts an insane amount of pressure on himself to go out and perform against a man 10 years younger than him and God knows how much bigger, a weight class above. God didn't do that, you did.
But after spending so many years patrolling the savannah as the fucking biggest, most dangerous lion that exists on the planet, I don't want to change. And maybe I'm just here to fucking suffer and get my ass kicked, and I'm gonna do it all so I can give everyone else a fantastic life and give everyone else mindset advice. Nobody gives me mindset advice. Nobody helps me. Nobody helps me with my mindset and saves me when I'm depressed. No, maybe
I love how he's literally depressed and down, saying all this in like millions of pounds worth of property. It looks beautiful where he lives. But look, just to shed a little bit of light on this, we're going to finish the video with this now. So just to shed a bit of light on this as well. And people are like, why is he blaming God and stuff? One thing I have got experience in is losing fights. There's nothing worse than losing a fight because it literally says to you that you as a person, you are not good enough. You aren't good enough for whatever you tried to do, and these plans that you have and what you're intending to do, you're not good enough for it. And it's a tough pill to swallow for a man. Even someone like Tate, who has millions of pounds, world titles, he's got tons and tons of video on him online of being a sick fighter. He doesn't need to worry about losing some silly fight to an influencer when he's 39 years old. But he does, because it hurts the male ego so bad. And he'll get past this. And it's literally just a phase. For a week you go through, you're like a dog with your tail between your legs, licking your wounds, and everybody goes through it losing a fight. It's one of the worst things ever. It really is. And I can't imagine what it's like being on the world stage and everybody talking about you. And look, you lost a fight. It taught everybody a lesson. You did a few things wrong. It wasn't anything to do with your fighting ability. I mean, it was to an extent, but more so you came out and prepared yourself in the wrong way. Tate will always be more skilled. he'll always have more accolades, and he'll always be on paper a better fighter. But that wasn't a fight as much as it was just two athletes running into each other and seeing who can run out of energy first. And you're never going to win that type of fight against a younger, bigger fighter. And that's exactly what happened. God didn't do that. You know, the cigars did that. So anyway, just to end on a final word before I go, nothing in this video is against Andrew Tate or Chase them all personally as people, especially what Andrew's done for men in terms of men's development, and has inspired a lot of men to take on fitness and change their life. I think that's great. I think that's amazing. The allegation's not so good, but the positive stuff is done amazing. Chase, don't know enough about him, don't really know anything about him, but from what I see, he's a decent lad. He's got a big following for the younger lot, and he's proving people wrong, you know, which is a great thing. Nothing in this video is made personal. It's all based on fighting ability. Honest breakdowns, brutally honest if they need to be, nothing personal. That's the way I'm going to make these videos. Alright, thank you for watching my video, guys. I know it might not have been the best YouTube video. I'm just getting into this stuff, but I've promised myself to be more committed to YouTube this year. I'm going to start posting more. If this is the type of content you like, fights and fitness-based breakdowns and activities and anything sort of that nature, that's the type of thing that I'm going to be commenting on. So if that's the sort of thing you want to see, please give me a like and follow. Thanks again for watching.